speeding bullet.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
More powerful than a locomotive.
Hulk! Smash!
Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
There's more to them than meets the eye.
He came up to the window in the mist, as I'd seen him often before. But he was solid then, not a ghost. And his eyes were fierce, like a man's when angry. He was laughing when he turned to look back over the belt of trees, glinting in the moonlight, to where the dogs were barking. Then he began promising me things, not in words, but by doing them. Have you seen that awful den of hellish infamy, with the very moonlight alive with grisly shapes, and every speck of dust that whirls in the wind, a devouring monster in embryo? Listen to them, the children of the night. What music they make.
Standing all alone here in a tavern full of ghosts. It's 3 a.m., we're back again. Here's my toast. The first one goes to rock and roll, the fortune and the fame, the limousines, the screaming teeth that yell my name. I came here to get wasted, but it just ain't the same. I'm raising my glass and tossing it back, but I can't remember why. So let's have another for all of my brothers who drank until they died. My dead, drunk friends. My dead, drunk friends. Here's to all the women, the widows and the brides, the ones that we came home to, the ones we had to hide. The next ones to the road boys and all the crap we tried. We thought we were immortal, but then you died. I've been feeling kind of lonely, so I came here to get fried. I'm raising my glass and tossing it back, but I can't remember why. So let's have another for all of my brothers who drank until they died. I'm raising my glass and tossing it back, but I can't remember why. So let's have another for all of my brothers who drank until they died. Drank until they died. My dead, drunk friends.
We fight and we puke and we puke and we fight and we drink. We puke and we puke and we drink and we fight and we fight and we puke and we drink. Or we drink and we puke and we fight and we fight and we drink and we puke and we puke. We drink and we fight and we puke and we puke. And
We die.
My dead drunk friends.
Hey there, boys and ghouls. Chuckles the Klown here with the one and only George Garner across the table and Nurse Misery. And, of course, Tony Jones running the control thing. And I promised you guys that I would play some Hollywood vampires, and I wasn't good on my promise for about 3 episodes. So this time we finally have a couple other songs to play for you tonight for some enjoyment. Hollywood Vampire is a great collation of musicians. I mean, one of them that you're going to be shocked about is, of course, the one and only Nurse Misery.
Johnny Depp, of course.
Yes, Johnny Depp. Who could have thought that guy can, he can rip a guitar like no other? You have Joe Perry as well, and Alice Cooper at the lead.
Which, by the way, I got a frantic message a few weeks ago because on the last episode of Chuckles Crypt, you said, coming up, we'll have Hollywood Vampires. And this idiot thought that you meant that Hollywood Vampires would be here in studio in West Warwick, Rhode Island with us.
Do you think I would have left the studio if that was the case? I probably would have stayed to listen.
That was quite impressive that someone thought highly enough of you to think that Alice Cooper would come and be interviewed by you.
Why couldn't he? Why wouldn't he?
No, it's pretty awesome that someone assumed that.
Point is that, Chuckles, besides his other faults, he suffers from an inferiority complex.
Yeah.
And,
George, it's hot enough for me right now to leash out like a rattlesnake. Don't tempt me. This heat of the summer have already kicked me up. The only great thing about this summer, George, so far has been the movies. The start off of the movies has been fantastic. It is worth you guys getting yourself some passes this year and spending some time inside the old AC movie theaters to catch some of these flicks. And one of them I'm going to start off with, you're going to be shocked about. And it's a good title, and it's one of my favorite Disney stories because it is messed up. And Tim Burton did a great job of reintroducing Alice in Wonderland the first time, a very dark movie. And the second time he gave us the sequel to this, which Tim Burton's not known for making great sequels, and not really. Batman, and then the second Batman with Danny DeVito playing Penguin, not the best sequel to any movies. But this one was good. I mean, and yeah, you could have appreciated a lot more if you had partaken in the 420 Club with Jeff Charles, because it was definitely one of those movies where...
Big shout out to 13 Folds Radio.
Yeah, I'm sure if they saw that in 3D, they would have been tripping out of their minds.
Oh, yeah, it definitely was very trippy.
Especially all the clock stuff.
It was a really well-told story, and I've always been a fan of the Alice in Wonderland characters, especially when someone takes them and twists them and makes them these creepy characters, which they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much you have to twist them to make them creepy. I mean, they really were supposed to be, right?
They were creepy from the get-go.
Yeah, it was Disney that mellowed them out.
Yeah, they were mellowed, and now they're kind of brought back to...
Do anybody at this table or in this room remember the television show Through the Looking Glass?
Oh, it was
the
freaky.
Channel 10 one?
It was freaky.
Yeah, it was. It was very freaky, and it was free.
And it was on strange hours. It would be on at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Good show. I actually liked that one. And yeah, you had to stay up late to watch it because we didn't have things called DVRs and we didn't have the money for an expensive VCR to record something that late in the evening.
How to program your VCR?
We couldn't afford a VCR. Come on, this is coming from in the 80s, all right? We're lucky we had cable.
I doubled down on Betamax.
Yeah. Jeez, you make it seem like that invention was cheap to us when it first came out. It was not.
And now they're free.
Yeah.
No, I remember people giving away. I had a friend who was an artist, and WBRU, had a contest, come up with the new logo for the BRU radio station, and their grand prize was a CD player, if I remember correctly. And then, so these things and it was a grand prize worth several hundred dollars. Of course, you wanted to know why they couldn't give her the money, which then obviously they had stolen the CD player. But we don't know that. We just assume.
Who cares if it came off the back of a truck? That's where all the best stuff comes from.
But she did. She was an artist. She was too poor to afford the TV or the stereo to plug the CD player into. So it's like, she she put the CD player on her mantle and just kind of looked at it.
It collected dust. Kind of like my MP3 player. I haven't learned how to operate that thing now, and it's 6 years plus since I've gotten it.
Yeah, just remembering the day she won first prize at something and couldn't make anything of it.
Yeah, you make it seem like these inventions were always affordable, Nurse Misery. They were not. Definitely when they came out, Blu-ray players, remember the expense of those suckers. $800 for a Blu-ray player. Now you could get one for as low as probably about $15 off eBay. But back to the story at hand, Alice in Wonderland. Twisted story. It's one of the very few movies, too, where all the original cast returned.
Yeah, they
voice
didn't
actors,
have any fillers.
no step-in actors and everything. All the original cast that everybody liked returned to this movie to make it an even more enjoyable flick. Unfortunately, it was shadowed out by the movie I'm going to talk about later on, but I don't see why. I mean, all in all,
I like this one better.
Yeah, it definitely was better than the X-Men movie, and I know I'm going to catch hate mail for that, but the story was a better deal.
I don't think you're going to catch hate mail about recommending a Tim Burton movie.
Well, there are some Tim Burton movies out there. We will do a special on this that are absolute garbage.
9.
9.
He's had some hits, but he's had some major misses over the years.
Yeah.
That was.
He doesn't do middle ground very well. It's either amazing or, oh my God, what were you thinking?
He's kind of like the Steven Spielberg of the slightly lower budget.
Yeah.
Is that he has an excellently made big hit. Yeah. Then he uses the money to make shit. Then he scrapes.
Do you think that's on purpose? Do you think he's trying to keep his street cred?
I think he might be.
It almost seems like he does better with a smaller budget.
I've been told,
some directors do. Yeah.
I've been told that it is a to-do on your bucket list, that when he sets his art museum up in New York City, that it is a
must-see.
A must-see to go see Tim Burton's artwork inside there. I could see it. The guy's definitely not all up there. And
maybe
some of these,
he is all up there, just
maybe
slightly askew.
Maybe he is, but the original concept of Alice in Wonderland, that dude definitely wasn't all up there.
Well, no. That's why who better to reimagine it, so to say.
I think he was probably sharing the opium pipe with Edgar Allan Poe inside the shops there to come up with that story.
Carol, right?
Sense.
Lewis
Carroll.
Yeah.
Those are crazy, crazy stories.
Well, back then when he wrote those, I think actually it's appropriate you bring this up this year because those Alice in Wonderland stories, I think, Tony, you're the political guy, weren't those Alice in Wonderland stories original political satires?
I'm not sure, actually. For once, I'm stumped.
I think they
doesn't happen around here.
I think it was a way of criticizing the king and the court of England and the politicians and stuff. Because back then, if you criticized too many politicians, they didn't,
and you can
give out interviews against you. They chop your head off.
Yeah, you can almost see the entire political grouping through that.
Right, different political types.
Yep.
I think it was.
It would make sense if it was.
I would like to sit down and have tea time with the Mad Hatter and the Rabbit. Although he might get on my freaking nerves every time he kicked over one of my pastries or tea. We'd be having Hassefepper for lunch later on. But I might enjoy that. I think the Mad Hatter and I would have...
go after the March Hare.
Nice lucky rabbit's foot.
Yeah. I think the Mad Hatter and I have a lot in common. Besides the fact that I don't know how to make hats, I wear goofy hats.
Well, he could probably make you a lovely chapeau.
You can't say that word on radio.
Okay.
No.
It'll be a beautiful hat.
There you go. There you go. Don't be swearing like that. I'll give you the FCC fines. I will. I'll do it. So let's go down to, why not? Another Hollywood Vampire song right here. Whole Lot of Love. Yeah, a whole lot of love. They're from.
By the way, that is not a song about some of my ex-girlfriends.
You sure?
Yeah.
You
okay,
sure
it is.
That? Yeah.
I was going to say, some of those stories, that title would befit you well.
Now, if you guys aren't catching on, most of these songs that Hollywood Vampires are performing songs of past artists that Alice Cooper or maybe some of the other gentlemen had
of the
drinks with and hung out with him.
Original Hollywood vampire
Yes,
crew.
really, I can't push his album enough. If you are an Alice Cooper fan, if you are a rock and roll fan, and you're tired of hearing the same old freaking remakes that sound like garbage, I think that's a nice word to say it. This isn't one of those. Pick this album up, support Alice Cooper, support Johnny Depp if you're a fan of his, and Joe Perry. And I always forget the other dude's name, and I'm very sorry.
Yeah, you mentioned the guitarist, but there's got to be.
I am so sorry. I forget the drummer and the other guy's name so many times.
The other guy being the bass player, right?
Yeah. I am so sorry for that, and I will come up with that info next time back through after our next music break. But
Well, Nurse Misery could be doing a job.
I forgot to bring up a very important information. Number one, today is the number of the beast. 666. All rhyme up. 10 years ago today, the movie The Omen came out. And I remember crossing that boycott path with Nurse Misery in front of a bunch of nuns. 10 years. The remake came out.
Remake, yes.
Yep. And I remember crossing that line, watching that movie, saying, well, this was nothing but a shined-up turd from the original. And
but we still were there.
That's how you really feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I wonder why you even brought that up. I mean...
Well, because it is. All three numbers bring up 6, 6, and 6. It's the number of the beast. And very coincidentally, it is also Robert Englund's birthday. Happy birthday, Robert Englund.
Or maybe not so coincidental.
Yeah. And if you don't know who Robert Englund is and you're listening
Shame
to this
on
show,
you.
leave right now. I don't need your type. Get out of here. Smithers, release the dogs.
And you were probably going to mention this, but for all you history nerds out there, it's also D-Day.
Yes, D-Day, the one and only.
Today, the 6th of June.
Yep, a lot of stuff on this day. A lot of bad stuff on this day. Although one would say Robert Englund's not a bad stuff. He's a great Hollywood actor. Now we're back onto the Alice in Wonderland, and everybody's got to have their favorite characters with that. I mean, I know I do. Do you, Nurse Mystery, have a favorite Alice in Wonderland character? Let me guess. Cheshire Cat.
I loved the Cheshire Cat when I was a kid. He was so evilly maniacal, but you had to love him, which is probably why I fell in love with you.
Except for my head doesn't spin around like that. And I'm not that...
When I don't give you the correct meds, yes, it does.
And I'm not that fat to float in the air.
No, but just the fact of he's so crafty and creative, and I loved how he spoke. And sadly, I also liked the caterpillar just because he was such a jerk.
Jerk, but he told her how it was.
Exactly.
I think that's why people thought he was a jerk, because he didn't hold back. I like that type of character.
Yeah, he was very straightforward, and basically when Alice was doing something dumb, just kind of gave her that reminder. It almost kind of made me think of my dad sometimes of, hey, stupid, what are you doing?
I definitely have to go on record and say I have two favorites. First would be the Jabberwocky, which is the giant dragon. It's awesome.
How do you not appreciate
And the second would
Jabberwocky?
definitely be Mad Hatter, because that is one kick-ass character. And so many people have tried to take on his personality, I would say. Even a very famous shock rock artist by the name of Marilyn Manson has tried to take on his personality with the top hats and the weird paint. And he doesn't think we would catch on to that.
How about the Batman villain of the same name?
Oh, yeah, of course, Mad Hatter. I mean, he definitely had to have some sort of influence through Lewis Carroll's stories there. I mean, you can see bits and pieces of it throughout the Batman comic, how much of that is actually related to one another. So he probably was heavily influenced by that. George, you got to have a favorite. Now, I've seen your toys in here, which I play with quite often, which are pretty cool. And then some jerk comes in here and puts them in ways that they shouldn't be in, where they're fornicating with one another. Toys don't fornicate.
Not with my toys. That didn't happen.
They did, and I had to replace them and put them back to where they were.
But now my Dark Alice toys, they were in my small meditating room over there.
When they were in here, people were making them fornicate with each other.
Oh, way back, because I was going to say.
Yeah, and that made me mad, and I would change them back to where they were killing each other and whatnot.
Okay, well, all I can say, if anybody's listening that was making light of those Dark Alice toys, it's probably about as smart a thing to do as messing with Annabelle the doll that is now in isolation, because those Dark Alice toys have a history, and I treated them respectfully and kept them in isolation for a reason. So
are you saying these?
I'm just saying that these people that treated them lightly,
demonic toys, possibly.
If these people that treated them lightly, see,
there's a heffalump in here.
If something were to happen to any of said people, don't be surprised.
I would not be surprised at all. I always treated those toys with great respect.
But as far as my favorite Alice character, it's because it's indirect. It's the White Rabbit, only because of the Jefferson Airplane acid song from like before my time, White Rabbit.
Okay.
So ever since, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And that's not really a fair way to pick, but got to do it because that's all I think of when I hear Alice in Wonderland.
I thought it would be because I'm always late, so maybe you were inspiring because I was very similar to him. The White Rabbit, me always being late, running.
No, purely circumstantial reason for the pick.
Ah, okay.
You threw yourself under the bus for nothing.
Tony, we rarely ask this, but why not? What is your favorite Alice in Wonderland? And you have to be a nerd about this because I know you've read those books.
Now, of course, you know I do love politics, and right now on the local and national level, we have two people who very much resemble the Queen of Hearts. That is Gina Raimondo and the next president of the United States, Ms. Hillary Clinton.
Off with her head. Off with both their heads. I would bring them up to the guillotine, but I would end up on the Providence Journal for hate mail, which means I probably should do it. We're going to go to another song. We go down to this, and you guys, you kind of guess what's coming up next for chat, so why not? Let's leave this a surprise. Here on Chuckles Crypt, you heard it first here. Now, I know a bunch of you, by the way, welcome back to Chuckles Crypt, Rhode Island Free Radio.org. I know a bunch of you just got really excited when you heard that music, because I always did. That was a treasured favorite cartoon of mine, and I still catch it and watch it on Netflix every now and then. And the comics when I was a kid were my favorite. As I grew up, kind of spread away from them. But not to the point where I'm going to boycott the movies. Never would do that. Age of Apocalypse. All right, I would go on to say it was decent.
It was. It could have been better, but it was attention keeping.
It was attention keeping. It was gory. It was very violent, which I was shocked about. This is something that's supposed to be directed towards kids, and if it had gone maybe one more step to the left, it would have been on the same level as Deadpool.
Yeah.
It was if you have little kids that are impressionable, I'm not telling you don't bring them because I'm an evil clown. I don't care what you do, but I'm going to say
you might want to watch it first.
Yeah,
you make that
the
decision.
Repercussions that come out of that are your fault, not mine. The character that played Apocalypse did a great job,
Yes.
and that is one of my all-time favorite villains from the Marvel Universe, or even from the evil villains universe. I mean, Apocalypse is a god. He is a godlike character. He is very hard to defeat, and they didn't make it seem that way in this movie. They pulled a ye old Mortal Kombat, if you guys know what I mean.
Left him sleeping there like Aurora, the princess in Sleeping Beauty, just lying in slumber.
Right.
Then all of a sudden they woke him up, and then...
Yeah, I mean, there was some really awesome spots inside there, but the way that they defeated him and took care of him was very similar to the way that the X-Men battles went. It was quick. It was too quick, and it made this guy that's supposed to be this overlord, this god, look like nothing.
In other words, it was a wrap it up at the end of the movie type of thing.
Yeah. And I think they
kinda
could have
waited for the epic battle a little too late.
And I think this is one of those movies, again, where they could have made a sequel to it.
Well,
they didn't have to crush them in the first movie.
You're exactly right. That's what you're supposed to do when you have an epic villain.
Yeah, it should have been a two-parter.
I mean, us as comic book fans, when has it ever happened in the first book that the epic villain, whether it be Onslaught, Apocalypse, Darkseid, Doomsday, when has it ever happened when they're beaten in one damn book?
Yeah, well, this reminds me of Batman versus Superman. At the end, right, remember that last third of the movie that I hated, which we all agreed was
and they just
a waste.
Crammed it all in there.
Yeah, they crammed it all in there at the end, and they killed
Doomsday off real quick. It's a very similar formula to this, and critics were smashing DC for this, and Marvel did the same damn thing.
They wanted to say, hey, we can be stupid, too.
Yeah, watch this.
And they did. They crammed too many characters in this one, and they killed it off. Yes, it was a decent movie. Will I end up purchasing it? Probably not. I won't add that to my...
It's not necessary to own, but it was decent enough to watch. But I could have watched it at home on Netflix and saved $9.
Which, if you're from Rhode Island, by the way, we have found this awesome movie theater in Lincoln.
Yeah, the one in the Lincoln
CW.
Mall.
Screw you, Showcase Cinemas. It's only $9 to go see a movie, and that's for period $9. And they have like cheapo sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Showcase Cinemas, unless I'm bleeding and I can't get to CW,
we're not coming back.
Yeah, you have lost my business. And
now, does that come as a former Showcase Cinema employee of which job you jumped over the counter and walked out of?
Well, yeah,
no,
but
stealing the uniform, like, just like the cheap.
It is
aspect of ourselves.
And you know the thing is too is like the CW movie theaters, they're nicer. The seats are bigger. They got stuff behind you.
Yeah, you can like put the little arm up if you want.
And less white trash from surrounding areas visit it, so you don't have to worry about someone running in and shanking you while you're watching X-Men,
stealing your juju beads.
Yeah, I mean it was a nice experience, and the CW will get my business once again for probably the rest of this summer. As far as movies go. Now, if you guys are looking, before we go down to a song, if you guys are looking for something to do this weekend, there's a lot to do. And I'm going to start off with this, and then later on, Nurse Misery will talk to you about a lot. If you missed the Time Capsules comic book sale, I'm sorry. I wasn't here to advertise it. But
it was this past weekend, and it was awesome.
It was incredible.
And you missed it.
50 cents comics and $3 soft covers. I mean, there were some really good books that they were selling.
And that same weekend, the Toy Vault had a warehouse sale. So if you were a nerd with a little bit of extra money this past weekend, you were pretty much freaking out.
It gets better, Mr. Jones. Rubber Chicken. Now, you guys know how I feel. I heavily support them. I show up to the free comic days. They are... as well, they're doing a sale this weekend coming up. It's actually 3 weeks in a row they're going to be doing sales. And that is 15 North Main Street, and that is in Bellingham, Massachusetts, and 029019. Now, they're going to be putting a sale on their DC Comics this week, overstocks past couple of years or even like recently. They're going to be at 50 cents each.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty damn cool. I definitely recommend going there. They are a great bunch of people to deal with. And then towards the end, there'll be some more coming up. They have June 17th and 18th. All Image, Dark Horse, and Dynamite and independent comics will be dirt cheap. And then the 24th and 25th and 26th, we will have sidewalk sales with complete comic sets from $5 each, of course, and depending on weather by staying update for Facebook pages. That's really good. That's making comics stuff 50 cents. You can't beat that.
That's what I'm talking about.
50 cents for a newer book. I mean, good. You know how much those newer books go for now?
Average between $3.99 and $5.99.
Yeah.
It just makes the dealers at the comic shows look even more ludicrous when they try.
Yeah.
And they do. And
you never want to buy at a Comic-Con again.
I'm not supporting these guys just because I love them. I am supporting them because they're good business. Even when they do Comic-Con, they have really good deals when they're there. We have dealt with facts where we've tried to get those hologram books and someone was trying to charge us way what they shouldn't have.
Price.
and said, try finding these somewhere else. And I walked around the corner to Rubber Chicken, and they're the same damn books were for $2 a piece.
Now, in today's technology-saturated world, why would you even try to rip people off? Because they can turn their back, go on Amazon or eBay and find the proper price. I mean, why would you even try to screw people?
Yeah, there's no such thing as a challenge saying try to find these somewhere else because
yeah, we will.
With very little effort. Yeah.
Especially at an event as large as the Comic-Con when there's like 50 comic
But
dealers.
we're not even talking an event anymore. We're talking about
just in general.
Right, you're standing in front of that moron saying try and find them somewhere else.
You can do it on your phone in 30 seconds.
And you just turn it around and show them.
Yeah, be like, look at this. This guy only wants 50 cents for the thing you want.
All I know
$10
is
for.
the old saying still holds true. May the buyer beware.
Now, before you guys get off the X-Men subject, I wanted to see your thoughts on the fact that the feminists, and I use that in air quotes here, the feminists are actually boycotting the new X-Men movie because of a billboard and a scene where Apocalypse is choking Mystique. The feminists are going nuts about this.
And I see this. And
I didn't even think anything of it.
Now, people, you guys are reading too much into things. You want equal opportunity. So you have this lead female actress who is mutated and whatnot, and it's trying to go against Apocalypse. Do you think the guy is just going to stand there and say, you're a girl, I can't hurt you?
Wouldn't that be even
more of a feminist issue?
Feministly offensive? I mean, at least in this case, he's treating her as an equal.
Yeah, get off your high horses, ladies and gentlemen. It's a movie. If you take it any more than that, there was nothing more sexist about that than there was, and I saw this example, when Deadpool in the movie there where the young lady was choking Colossus. Why is that okay for a woman to choke a guy? And then it happens the same thing over there on it's a movie.
Yeah, but I think it's because women enjoy sexual asphyxiation more.
What are you guys going to do? Now, there are plenty of women in the armed services right now, and there are plenty of them that are joining the front lines. Do you think for a second when they run at someone with a gun that the person on the other end, if it's a guy, is going to say, no, you're a girl, I'm not going to hit you? No, if this is going to be equal opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, it's equal opportunity.
Actually, I'll tell you, if one of our female soldiers runs at one of the ISIS terrorists or something, the ISIS terrorist is liable to say exactly that because it would, in some Muslim creeds, if he was to fight and kill a female, that would dishonor him. Mm-hmm. In other words, it's dishonorable even to fight a woman. So one of our female soldiers may very well charge from the trench toward the battle. The ISIS guy will basically grab her by the throat,
send her out there with a plate of bacon,
wrap her in a pigskin, then they'll run.
I don't see it. The comics are doing what people wanted. They are empowering the female roles. They're doing exactly what a lot of the young ladies are complaining about, and yet they're still complaining. No matter what we do, we're not going to be able to accommodate and make everybody happy out there.
Well, the feminists don't want to be. Well, now when we talk about feminists, there's two kinds of feminists. I mean, there's the feminists that believe, hey, women and guys should get paid the same thing for the same job. That's of course.
Yeah.
But then we have the feminists that have some kind of genetic fallacy in their heads, and they just can't get along with the two sexes on this earth. They're kind of in between.
I definitely think that's the case here.
I think they all need to live on Themyscira.
The old saying,
just go away.
If you don't like the movie, why would you go watch it? Now you know there's going to be females in X-Men. Now I've followed that comic book since I was a kid.
Yeah, but shouldn't you be happy that Apocalypse saw her as enough of a threat where she was one of the major threats,
because
major powerhouses?
She was a major threat.
He went after her.
It's that simple.
Would it be better?
Shouldn't that be empowered?
Now, were they complaining because he was choking her?
Yeah, yes. Had her by the throat.
Instead of maybe bending her over and violating her to death?
Yeah, I mean, he had no weapons on him. What was he? He had nothing to stab her with.
Well, no. See, if he stabbed her, that would be phallic symbolism.
Exactly.
Then they'd be screaming about that.
These are the same young ladies that get upset when they see a woman wrestler getting in the ring with a man wrestler, and the man ends up beating the woman, and they say, well, it was sexist because the woman actually didn't stand a chance. These are those same folks that are doing this, people.
You ever notice, too,
you just got to ignore them.
Well, yeah, it's easy to ignore them, too, because do you ever notice that these, like, vicious feminists that we're talking about are usually very unattractive? I mean, it's very easy for me to ignore them.
You know, I don't...
Who wants to look at them? Never mind listen to them.
I don't deal with any of them, so that's all I'm going to leave it at. Let's go on a more positive side of stuff. And another really powerful female character we're going to bring up in a second. But another surprise for you guys here on Chuckles Crypt, Rhode Island Free Radio. I think this song will get you up dancing, and you'll know what's coming up next.
Gonna rock the town without being seen. Have you ever seen a turtle get down? Slamming and jamming to the new swing sound. Yeah, everybody let's move. Vanilla is filled with the new jack groove. Gonna rock and roll the place with the power of the ninja turtle bass. Iceman, you know I'm not playing. Devastate the show what the turtles are saying. Ninja, ninja, rap. Ninja, ninja, rap. Ninja, ninja, rap. Go, 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 go. Go ninja, go ninja, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Lyrics, fill in the gaps. Drop that bass and get the ninja rap. Just feel it. If you know what I mean, give it up. For the heroes in green, just flowing. Smooth with the power, kicking it up hour after hour. Cause in this life, there's only one winner. You better aim straight so you can hit the center. In it to win it with a team of 4 ninja turtles that you gotta adore. It's ninja, ninja, rap. Ninja, ninja, rap. Ninja, ninja, rap. Go, 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 go. Go ninja, go ninja, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Villains, you better run and hide, because one day you might not slide. So choose your weapon, don't slip. Vanilla's in control with the flex of a mic grip. Rocking the crowd the way it should be rocked with the Miami drop that you like a lot. You know it's hidden like a ninja turtle. When the bass kicks in, you better check the level. The power of a ninja is strong, fighting off freaks until they're all cold gone. Ninja, ninja, rap. Ninja, ninja, rap. Ninja, ninja, rap. Go, 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 go. Go ninja, go ninja, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Ninja, ninja, rap. Ninja, ninja, rap. Ninja, ninja, rap. Go, 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 go. Go ninja, go ninja, go. Go ninja, go ninja, go. Go ninja, go ninja, go. Go, 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 go. Out with the gladiator, baby.
I'm going to try to bring this up as short and sweetly as I can, because coming up, I want to play the full song for you guys. The Hollywood Vampires School's Out, and it's combined with another Brick in a Wall. Very good song, and I think you guys will enjoy that. A little unknown fact that a lot of folks out there did not know is Alice Cooper helped compose the Brick in the Wall album. A lot of the songs inside that he helped write with Roger Waters and all the other gentlemen from Pink Floyd. Now, you got it. I just played Ninja Rap, which means I am going to be talking about the new Ninja Turtles movie. And if you guys haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it too much for you. All I'm going to say is this is the Ninja Turtles 2 that we should have gotten when we were kids. We were definitely screwed out of it with that Razor and whatever the heck that other thing was. We were screwed. This one was awesome. It was. And a lot of people are going to say, that is not how Bebop and Rocksteady were made. And I'm going to say, I don't care. It was awesome that they were in it.
Seamus was hysterical as Rocksteady.
They were comical, which was great because they were always comical in the cartoons.
The gentleman playing Bebop was great too.
Oh, and Krang was outstanding, although it was that typical Michael Bay Transformer thing with the Technodrome. Yes, that did come in, and the typical explosions, yes. And there's even an Easter egg in there, one or two for the Transformer fans out there. I really enjoyed this movie, and I couldn't help but to keep staring at Megan Fox's ass. If those jeans got any tighter, I don't think she would need to be wearing them.
Did she play Bebop or Rocksteady?
I wish she was playing Bebop with my baloney. But
wow.
No, she played April O'Neil, which is a very powerful character in the Turtles world. And what do you know? She was getting beat by foot soldiers. So I guess the foot soldiers would be they'd be feminists, I guess. They're over there kicking her and knocking her down, and then they're trying Bebop and Rocksteady were trying to do bestiality on her.
This is what you get for showing your boobs in your butt. We're gonna beat you up.
Yeah, so I guess that's feminist. There you go, ladies. Go boycott the Ninja Turtles. When you're taking your kids there to watch it, you can boycott the fact that Megan Fox is probably 3 times more beautiful than you ever will be.
That's what it is. It's just ugly woman envy of attractive women. That's what this whole bottom line thing is.
I think you might be right. Oh, there goes my hate mail. Ding, ding, ding. There it goes. No, I enjoyed that movie.
The great thing is they're directing my hate mail at you.
Yeah,
so.
I enjoyed that movie fully, and I will see it again before it leaves because I don't think it's going to stick in the theaters very long because it is a fan favorite movie, and it's definitely a fanboy type deal. I'll stay in there for a little bit. I think the kids will like it.
There were actually a lot of little girls in there with their moms.
That was shocking. A lot of young ladies in there.
The time we went, there was a lot of young girls in there with their moms.
And the greatest thing about this movie is thank you. Someone finally gave Kevin Easterman the credit he deserved for making his product. There is a spot in the movie where they say, "Where are the Ninja Turtles from?" And something is mentioned, New Hampshire. Now, if you guys don't know, Kevin Easterman is from New Hampshire. He's a New England boy that was mostly responsible for making the Ninja Turtles. So they gave him credit, which I thought was really, really cool. And I know I went by this, and I gave them the stink fist and said that they were going to suck back yonder with the CGI, and they did a really good job with this again. I mean, the textures and the animal and everything, they look pretty good. I will say Bebop and Rocksteady were definitely goofy. They're definitely on the cartoonish side. Very cartoonish. They were realistic cartoonish, but they were cartoonish. And Krang was definitely cartoonish. And the gentleman that played
cartoonish?
Raymond's older brother there from... Everybody Loves Raymond. He voiced the Krang, which was kind of
So was it
cool.
foam rubber suits or was it all CGI?
No, it was
all CGI'd. And you could tell, but they did a pretty good job.
Well done.
I highly recommend that you guys go see that movie. I'll talk more on that later on, so I'll give you guys a chance to catch up. I really have to plug some of the stuff that's up and coming, and I really want to play this last song. And I'm sure you guys are excited because up next, the Haunted Cabaret is coming up. And with it being Robert Englund's birthday and 666,
I will be inspired.
I'm sure this is going to be a good one. Not like it always is. It is always one of my favorite shows here. Not just because I'm here, but because I'm no longer the villain. George Garner is. So
you get to be the good cop.
Yeah, Nurse Misery, upcoming, and I'm very happy to be part of this.
Yes, we actually even got our confirmation phone call from the lovely woman Gina, who is the chairperson of this event. We will be a part of the Gatsby Day Parade, which is going to be this Saturday, June 11th, starting at 10 a.m.
Oh, good. Let me get my eggs ready.
Yes. You may, because we can't throw anything back at you.
Wow, you're sitting ducks.
Yes, we are. There are more rules to this parade than we're used to, but we will play good clowns, and we will abide by them.
That means if you are coming down to see the parade, you need to be on that road before 9 o'clock because they shut it down.
Oh, yeah, that road
That's
closes.
9 in the morning, folks. So if you're coming down to see us, get yourself a spot early in the morning in the shade.
Yep.
I recommend going down where the pirates are because afterwards they have a really cool festival. Go down and check them out. They got cannon firing and everything. And, of course, you got myself. So
Cannons
up towards the bridge, and the park there is a great spot to be. I am really proud of this. This isn't just like the largest parade in Rhode Island. This is one of the largest parades in the United States.
And we had to apply and get approved.
So
if
come
that
down to
says
see us,
anything-
get a picture with us, and what's coming up next?
So after June 11th, our next event, which Tony Jones knows quite a bit about, the Sea Creature Parade is going to be June 25th, and that will be kicking off at 10 a.m. in downtown Wickford. And let's see, there's...
Do you think you guys are the only cable access program / podcast in the nation that has a marching regiment?
Probably.
I don't think that's been done before.
Believe so. We are a triple threat in that aspect.
I know Bob used to do it, and so didn't the.
No, he was running away from his kid.
Yeah, I don't know if he had a podcast. It's probably ZacharyHatesMe.com.
Wow,
so that was probably his podcast.
Wow. So, along with the Sea Creature Parade, there'll also be the New England Quahog Festival going on at the same time during that day, where there will be lots of fun, and I believe is Johnny and the Earthquake still
Johnny and the
playing
Earthquake is playing.
He's coming down, and then if you are so inclined to come down the night before, we'll actually be having in Wickford a thing called Wickford Harbor Lights. Now, I can't say that it's like Waterfire because that'll get us all sued, but it's an event called Wickford Harbor Lights.
And you're less likely to get stabbed in a water fire.
That's true.
I definitely would make that a point to go.
There'll be water and there'll be fire and it'll be fun. So be there. And then just stick around and be drunk on the beach until all the mermaids show up the
You
next
can't
day.
say that. They cannot be drunk on the beach. That is
Fine, go
against
be
the law.
drunk in your car.
There you go.
Wake up to a bunch of sea creatures walking around and freak out.
That's two almost FCC fines you got me today. First
How
it was
so?
swear, and then the
I
drunk
did
on the
not
beach
swear.
stuff. You did. That was a swear. Whatever that thing was, it was a swear. So
Yeah,
go to the
blah,
next
blah,
thing.
Blah. The next event, our third parade, is going to be the Ancient and Horrible Parade, which will be Monday, July 4th, and they have a road race in the morning at 9 a.m. from the Trepatchit Union Church, and I believe the parade kicks off at 4 p.m. There is still some limited information on their website.
Yeah, it's about 4 o'clock.
So
they have a carnival as well down there during the weekends. Sometimes some bands. I don't know what's going on with that as yet.
Just out of curiosity, and not that anybody listening to this cares, but I care, what do you think your total number of brand building impressions is throughout those 3 parades? I mean, it has to be at least 100,000 people.
I hope so.
between all 3 of those parades,
If
yeah,
not more.
easily.
You know the worst thing, though, is I can go see those 100,000 people, and I'll get 3 people that'll tune in. But that's 3 people I didn't normally get. So
Now, my pyramid scheme is part of my brain is turning right now, and I'm thinking if we could get each of those 100,000 people to send $1 here to Rhode Island Free Radio.
Well, as long as you split it with the Chuckles and Laugh show.
Yeah, but aren't a large majority of those people backing away in terror from the clown?
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, that's definitely true.
You can reach in their pocket while they're backing away, but I think that opens up a whole
It
other...
just means that you and Tony could stand behind us. As we freak them out, you reach in the pockets.
Now, the last event before we play the last song, Nurse Misery.
Yes, we have a convention coming up, Ocean State Paracon. This year is going to be July 16th and 17th up at the Harrisville Theater up at the Assembly Theater in Harrisville, Rhode Island. My bad. And this year they will be supporting the Rhode Island Coalition Against Domestic Violence. So not only is it for a great local cause, it's an amazing event with lots of local celebrities. You'll see a lot of people that have been on Ghost Hunters throughout the years. Dustin Perry will be there. Audrey Perrin is going to be there from the Conjuring House. Then there's going to be Shannon Sylvia.
And me.
And, of course,
yes,
Chuckles the Klown.
And Chuckles the Klown. Plenty of people coming up. Check out the website if you guys get a chance, which is Nurse Misery.
it would be, you would go to riseupparanormal.com/Paracon, and that will give you all the information.
There you go.
You can even pre-buy your tickets.
When next we speak, we will be going down that route of the paranormal. I think it's that time of year again, and we will be getting closer to Ocean State Paracon. And we will be bringing up all things ghouls, aliens, and, it's definitely still pop culture in my mind. So we will be bringing the paranormal dead to you next time Chuckles Crypts come up. But we're going to wrap things up here, and we're going to go down to the last Hollywood Vampires song, School's Out, Another Brick in the Wall.
In the wall.